Hello Cancer, welcome to your weekly tarot reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is for the week of December 25th through December 31st. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. We're going to take a look at your general energies, kind of what is the biggest challenge that you're facing right now, what is the situation with which you need a little bit of clarity. You know, what is it that's going on with you? What do you need to know? What is the message that we can get through today? Two of Discs. All right, things are shifting. Things are moving around in your life right now. I think in your physical world, things are changing. What was once black is going white. What was down is going up. We got our Dove and Serpent spread. We're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card, whatever you want to call it. We're going to leave that right there, and we're not going to look at that until the very end of the reading. So stick around, because that hopefully will tie everything together or give us the confirmation that we need. Okay, kind of missing piece of the puzzle. So we got some interesting colors here. Let's see what kind of cards we have. Air, major, water, air. We have water, water, major, fire, earth. So we have a little bit of everything, I think. So that's a good sign. I think things are pretty balanced right now. I think it maybe is one of those kinds of, one of those times in our lives where everything just seems to be in place. Like everything just seems to be working, flowing. There's a nice rhythm, nice harmony to things. So we're kind of like, okay, what's the catch? What's going to happen now, right? Things are just things are too smooth right now, so there has to be a hiccup coming somewhere. Maybe not. Let's find out. We saw first that there was going to be some kind of change going. I think that change, honestly, is going to be in terms of your emotional life. Okay? Now, I don't want to say it's going to be a new relationship. I don't like to do relationship readings, quote unquote. But I think that there is going to be a shift in how you feel about someone or something. Okay? It could be a general sense of joy and pleasure and well-being going on now. I think your physical life, maybe your career, maybe your domestic life, maybe just in your physical body, there's been some positive changes. Okay? And that's what I mean when things seem like they're flowing well. It seems like things are just happening as they should. Things just seem really good, really smooth, a lot of rhythm, a lot of harmony. Right? It's almost like the cars are just kind of going around that racetrack and it's just going. Like it's nice. Right? So I think that's in, again, your physical world, physical plane stuff. So where you live, where you work, how you earn money, your physical well-being, your health, your fitness, everything just seems like it's on the rise. And it's functioning in a very harmonious, very smooth and rhythmic way. And I think with that feeling is going to come this renewed sense of joy, pleasure, this kind of unity, right? Where you just feel like you just like love everyone. You know what I mean? Like just everyone deserves a hug. And I think there's this real sense of community, this real sense of us all being connected, right? It's a lot of love, and I was gonna say compassion, but not even really compassion for everyone. It's just like a deeper love and like celebration of everyone, and just this kind of, more intuitive sense as well that we're all connected. But I think it's really being expressed by your like visible outward affection for people, right? Trying to take care of others, doing favors for people, just being cheerful, joyful, just really having a good mood, I guess, right? And that brings me to the recent past, because I don't think it was always kind of this good mood thing, because we've got this Eight of Cups. I think in the recent past, there was a little bit of depression or melancholy or pessimism, I think that there was this general feeling of life, and because, again, there's nothing here that really tells me, oh, this is definitely your career. No, this is just like an overall sense of well-being and harmony. It seems very general today, but we'll see as we go through. Maybe it'll narrow down. But generally, in the relatively recent past, there was a little bit of this depression or cynicism, maybe a lack of a lack of hope, a lack of optimism, a lack of interest, really, in life in general, right? You were doing your thing, but nothing was all that great. You know, you didn't really like to think about the future because it was kind of unknown, right? It's the future. But you didn't really expect things to be all that great in the future because you didn't really feel all that great right now. So it was difficult to see that the future could have this flow, this harmony, this smoothness to it, you know? And I think some of your faith, some of your hope, some of this joy, really, and this real sense of being involved in things and having a positive reaction to things, that kind of water energy was just slowly kind of leaking from you. And it just, I'm getting this feeling like you were just kind of in a dark spot, okay? And then, for whatever reason, whatever is going on now, things are starting to change. Things are starting to kind of shift around with this two of discs, okay? Things are on the rise. What was dark is becoming light. What was low is becoming high. And I think this is bringing a real restoration of this water energy to you. All of the water that's been kind of leaking, draining out of this Eight of Cups, now you have like this infinite fountain of joy, right? This is like the elixir of life, the aqua vitae, the fountain of youth, or whatever you want to call it, right? This is like that infinite source of joy and pleasure. And I think it's coming with a deeper understanding, though, okay? Because with the Two of Discs, it's not just about, oh, great, everything's wonderful now, no worries, right? That's a little naive. And we're kind of seeing that with the card. Okay, just like the yin and the yang, just like joy and pleasure, right? Sorrow and happiness and pleasure and pain, they're two sides of the same coin. So when things do reach their extreme of happiness and pleasure and joy, it's going to go back to misery, pain, suffering for a while, right? It's like a pendulum that just kind of swings, sometimes swings a little harder in one direction, right? But it's kind of just going back and forth. Nevertheless, you've got this Ace of Cups. So I think you're beginning to understand the underlying deeper connectedness of everything, the deeper joy, the deeper and kind of an internal source of that joy and pleasure, despite the ups and downs of the external world, right? I'm not saying that pleasure and pain don't affect you anymore. I'm not saying that you're just some monk or some ascetic or some stoic or anything like that. I think that you're able to find the joy even when things aren't going the best. You're able to just experience the pain and the sorrow and the bad times, knowing that you're going to get through it, knowing that deep, deep within you, in your real, true spirit and soul, you are still this Ace of Cups, okay? Now, I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent. The main idea, and I want to stick with the main idea, is that right now, things seem to be pretty smooth, pretty harmonious, pretty rhythmic. Things are good right now. And I think you're starting to feel this Ace of Cups, this water energy that is restoring all the water that we lost with the Eight of Cups, okay? And it's given you this sense of being really connected, both to your higher self, to spirit, divinity, but to everyone else in the world, to everything else, just life in general. Everything is one, right? That's the kind of feeling that we get. Spent a lot of time on these just couple of cards here. Let's move on. I think here we have the Chariot. This is your card. This is your patron card. This is the card that rules Cancer. This is at the top of the path of the Dove. So this is the reading in a nutshell. This is you. This is like your power. This is your adaptability. This is your readiness to face any challenges that life has to offer. This is you knowing that you've got in that central position of this card, you've got that Ace of Cups, right? That Holy Grail. You've got this divinity, this connection, this soul and spirit, this deeper part of you that is unaffected by the ups and downs of life, right? And you're holding on to that, you're cherishing that, you're keeping that safe and secure in your chariot with your armor and with these sphinxes that are ready to go, ready to take on any challenge that comes your way. This is really Cancer in its fullest manifestation, its fullest development. Really a fully realized kind of Cancer person, right? This is like the ideal Cancer, right? And with this here, I think this is your kind of focus right now, where you're just like, things are going tremendously well. Things seem smooth, rhythmic, harmonious. You're ready for that to change. You're ready for something to come your way. You're ready for the curveball. Okay? You've got your chariot. You've got things ready. You've got what's really important. You've got it stowed away, safe, secure. It's going with you no matter what happens, right? You're ready for the curveball. You're ready for whatever else life is going to throw at you, right? But right now, we've got that stability. Moving forward into the future, I see more of that stability, more of that flow, more of that harmony and resonance. This is the 6 of discs, material success, okay? So I think that while you have all of this stuff going on within you, and you're kind of focused on this this readiness, this preparation, this almost an expectation for things to kind of take a turn again at some point in the future. But I think for right now, you can expect things to continue in this harmonious way. Okay, I think that you have begun to do enough of that inner spiritual work, probably through this Ace of Cups energy, where now you are starting to kind of manifest that in the external world, right? The world around you is mirroring the kind of progress that you're making internally, right? So the more love you have, the more love you feel, the more love you express, the more is coming back to you. So there's a real harmony, real resonance in your physical, tangible world. And I think, again, things have not always been that way, but they're changing now. And now they are on this, right, this smooth, rhythmic kind of flow. I think that's going to continue for as long as you are intentionally, making it a priority, let's say, to express your love, to feel that, to really hold on to those moments where you do feel just this crazy kind of spiritual experience of being connected to everyone, So this is the immediate future. Things are expected to continue in this harmonious fashion for a while, at least, let's say. But let's move over to the path of the Serpent now, because we see a couple of court cards here, and the first one is your general energy, and this is a Queen of Swords, okay? So this is your thinking, right? This is your mind, your conscious mind, your intellect, your logic, right? Your left brain. I think you've been really focused on trying to conceptualize, intellectualize, and maybe examine or rationalize some of this Ace of Cups, some of this water, right? The queens are the watery aspect of the suit that they're in. So I think in your logical mind, in your reasoning, you're trying to sort through these kind of new feelings that you have, or this transition really from this 8 of Cups, kind of this dark period, into this new really surge of this kind of spiritual love, this kind of, agape, this divine love kind of thing that you're feeling now. So you're trying to kind of rationalize this. You're trying to maybe step back and just be like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? What is this all about? And we started to talk about that too, of kind of, you're waiting for something to happen. You're like, okay, what's the catch? What's the twist here? So you're trying to intellectualize, you're trying to rationalize it and kind of explain it and just, figure it out mentally, right? And again, this is general energy, left brain stuff, a lot of left brain stuff. But what we see next is kind of the exact opposite in a way. What we had here, let's just bring this out again. This is the watery aspect of the air. Okay, this is the airy aspect of the water. Okay, so they're kind of the same kind of inside out. right? These two are just kind of inside out. Maybe left brain, right brain. So your general energy is spent trying to rationalize, conceptualize, figure this thing out, right? And then this kind of right brain activity is more like you're feeling this emotion, you're feeling whatever this Ace of Cups, whatever this agape is, who knows, right? And it's not left brain, you're experiencing it, you're feeling it. And you're now focused on communicating it, right? Because the air aspect, right, of the water. So the focus is shifting from trying to figure it out intellectually to trying to express it, trying to share it with others, trying to really be in that water and share it with others, communicate it with others, use it as a means to connect with people and places and things and whatever, experiences, life. So there's a shift, right? It's kind of inside out. It's kind of like a reverse thing going on. And that's some of that yin yang. That's some of this two of discs that we're talking about too. So I think whatever's going on now, you're shifting out of this left brain into this right brain, out of this intellectual, rational, conceptualizing to this just more feeling, connecting, experiencing, more intuitive kind of function, right? It's kind of inside out there. The next card that we see, wonderful card, this is the Sun card. This is kind of, in some ways, the balance, right, of the left brain, right brain. This is when the opposites are combined in such a way that they create just this wonderful, magnificent thing that's greater than the sum of its parts. This is that, like that supernova, right? That when we see it, it almost seems like it's suspended in time. Right? That it's always expanding. It's always in the process of exploding or, emanating, whatever you want to call it. And so this is kind of an ideal thing. This is like almost taking this kind of, because we already said it was kind of like a spiritual experience, right? This divine love, this agape or whatever you want to call it. It's almost here like it. I'm trying to figure out how to say this because it's in the position of your fears, worries, and concerns. Okay? So I think this is almost this sense of this sun is kind of overshadowing you. You know what I mean? Even though this is you. But this is so much of this like divine light, this divine love, this agape, this energy, this Ace of Cups thing, whatever this is, in such a way that it's just so bright, so warm, so expansive, and it kind of overtakes everything else. And so our ego, our just, the center of our personality, seems like it's just getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller in scale compared to this. So this is really becoming who you are, becoming a fully realized spiritual being, and the ego is sometimes a little bit intimidated by that, right? It's kind of the reluctance to go with this flow. It's just the ego kind of wanting to go back to this Eight of Cups, because at least this is familiar. At least you kind of know what to expect there. You know what it's going to be, right? And for whatever reason, the ego kind of likes to go back to what's familiar, likes to stay in that kind of a mode. But this seems a little overwhelming. And I get that. But I think this is here, it's one of the, there's not too many major arcana here, but there's enough that we can show these two together and the Chariot, the kind of fully manifested, the ideal kind of Cancer person, and then we've got this Sun, right? So this is, this is literally like you are metamorphosizing into this spiritual being, into like this just fully realized, fully enlightened, fully developed person, right? And now that sounds a little cliche or whatever, but I don't really care. I think in this context, it's important for me to emphasize that, and using the cliche and whatever is a way to kind of emphasize that, look, you've got to stick with this Ace of Cups. Don't let the ego kind of retreat back to the Eight of Cups, right? Because that dark period, that more negative phase of things, it's always there kind of calling to us. But the real focus is this Ace of Cups. And I think the Ace of Cups, yes, there is this potential for it to be a really overwhelming kind of experience, right? And all of this love energy, all this sun, and all of this is kind of scary to the ego. I understand that. What we see next, though, this is interesting, and this is an Ace of Swords. So is this kind of us going back to the left brain, kind of intellectualizing, rationalizing things? No, I think this is like a higher plane understanding. This is the ego getting to share a little bit of this solar experience, this Ace of Cups experience, if I can get it, sharing in a little bit of that. And that is like the mentally enlightening, right? The experience that, enlightens the mind. Right? Satisfies the ego in the sense that it can understand a little bit of it now. It's still completely beyond the left brain, rational, mental kind of aspect of things. It's so far beyond that. But this Ace of Swords is a little bit of that understanding, that kind of divine understanding, divine knowledge, trickling down to the ego, giving the ego enough to be like, oh yes, now I understand why. Now I understand where we're headed and why we're doing this and what this is all about. Just enough to keep the ego, or to get the ego to kind of join forces with the rest of you to aim towards this kind of spiritual unfolding, right? So it's this is the Ace of Swords being the ego then joining the fight, having just as much enthusiasm and momentum and putting in the effort to proceed down this path and not retreat to that Eight of Cups. All right. Let's look at this confirmation card. I'm curious what that's going to be. This was quite an interesting reading for me. It's not a little bit different than the normal readings that we do here, but we never know where the energy is going to go. We never know where these cards are really going to lead, but this was an interesting one. But what could this be? I don't really want to speculate too much. I don't know. There's going to be some more discs. I don't know. This could be another message for the ego, for the left, kind of the left brain, the logical brain. Well, we've got another court card here. This is the Prince of Discs. So it's in some ways related to the Prince here, right? It's all about the way of communicating or expressing or connecting with other minds. But this is through the body, or through the earth plane, or through the work, or through the success, through the manifestation of all of this energy, right? So it's kind of like being here on the ground, being in your physical body, right? Being in this room with this desk, feeling with our nerve endings where we are, right? On this kind of solid base, right? This earth base that we're on. Feeling that and making the connections through that. So the physical connections, right? And not so much with the left brain, right brain kind of thing, but taking both of those, maybe. Taking some of this solar energy, which in some ways is the unification of the left brain, right brain, the logical versus the creative, kind of intuitive, the experience of things. Taking that kind of combination of energy, taking that solar energy and using it to really make connections on the physical plane, right? Really manifesting that energy in the body, in our daily life, in our routines, in our experiences, in our harmony and resonance with the rest of the world, right? With the rest of the manifested world, right? So this is through action. This is through sensual, sensory experiences. This is the things that we can touch, taste, smell, hear, whatever the other one is. And not so much the theoretical or the inner part of it, but it's really the outward connection, taking all of this energy and grounding it, right? Putting it to some good practical use. I think that's a really important confirmation here, because a lot of this is kind of taking us out into the air, taking us into outer space, right? Taking us kind of beyond ourselves, beyond our ego, taking us out of our body, right? But now it all comes back. It all, just like an electrical circuit, has to come and be grounded again. And that's how we kind of complete the circuit. And so it's important, I think, to stay in touch with our bodies, with how we feel, how our bodies feel, how it's doing as far as fitness, nutrition, and health and stuff. But then also using our senses to experience the world. And using that also, it's a little, and it's beyond the left brain, right? So it's kind of pointless for me to talk about it. But in some sense, it's bringing this Ace of Cups down onto the material plane and using that water, using that Ace of Cups energy in all of your kind of daily experiences, in your interactions, in your taking in of impressions, right? Because impressions are really the electromagnetic energy around us joining in union with our nerve endings, right? Our sensory organs. So there's a union there. There's a point of contact, and that's kind of what the Ace of Cups is about, the union. And I think it's very important for you to bring this energy down. Okay. We'll take a quick look in the extended to see if we can get any other clues or insights into the situation. If you want to become a member to the channel, it's pretty easy. There's a link in the description box. It's right at the top. Click on it. You do have to join at the Serpent level to get access to all of the extendeds. It's a great way to help support the channel. I really do appreciate all of you sticking around and watching these videos week after week, day after day. This was your weekly tarot reading for December 25th through December 31st. And we'll see you later.